Hey guys, Jared Wesley here of Live Traders, and it is that time of the week. It's lecture time, and this week, guys, we're going to talk about knowing yourself as a trader. You all think you know yourselves, but your actions suggest you don't. You think you're patient because you can wait in line at Starbucks? Well, when it comes to trading, waiting in line at Starbucks does not apply. Doesn't matter, right? You're selling too soon, not taking stop losses, taking bad trades, doing all kinds of things that you probably shouldn't be doing. So today we're going to talk about integrity, knowing yourself, how to be a better trader, a little bit psychology, a little bit charts. We're going to merge them so that you can be the best trader that you can possibly be. All right, guys, help a brother out, man. Like these videos, hammer that subscribe button. All right, we need to grow this channel back up so people keep watching it. All right, otherwise no reason to do the videos. All right, I'm Jared Wesley of Live Traders. Let's get to it. This week's lecture topic is know thyself and trade within it. One of the biggest reasons people fail in trading is they just don't get it. And when they don't get it, you're thinking charts and you're thinking patterns and so on. No. I'm talking about they don't understand themselves. Okay, and it's a very hard thing to tell somebody and say you don't understand yourself. People look at you cross-eyed because they're like, well, I am me. What do you mean I don't understand me? I spend the most time with me than I do with anyone else on the planet, and you're telling me I don't understand me. Yes, I'm telling you that. You either don't understand yourself or you are in denial about yourself. Right? If you're a sensitive person and you don't think you are, you're in denial about it, right? If you're a jittery person or an impatient person and you cannot accept that, you are in trouble because 50% of fixing the problem is accepting, not just accepting, but acknowledging the problem. So we're going to talk a little bit about that because I don't think most traders truly know themselves. And when they don't know themselves, they act like something they are not. Make sense? They think they're something, so in their mind, they're going to try to be that, but they're not actually that. So when they go and try to be that, it doesn't work out so well for them. Okay, it's like, I'm a patient trader. I'm going to use 4R targets. And then they sell, 37 seconds into every trade. And then they do this 100 times in a row without the acknowledgement that, hey, you're not as patient as you thought you were. The proof is in the pudding. You're going to hear me say that over and over today. I don't care what you think. Show me what you do. If you track your trades, your trade tracking spreadsheet will tell you everything about yourself. You don't have to tell me. You don't have to tell the mirror. Just look at the tracking spreadsheet and it'll go, yeah, you're a jittery person. Your average hold time is 2 minutes and 12 seconds. You're not patient at all, right? Your batting average is 15%. Well, you're not very good with charts, right? Whatever it is, but I think people, unfortunately, are just not honest with themselves. So the fact is this, straight up, flat out, most traders beat themselves over and over and over and over again. You're not actually getting beaten by the market. You're actually getting beaten by yourself because of a lack of understanding of yourself. Okay? And that's something we're going to have to overcome, or else you're going to struggle mightily in this business if you can't figure out who you are as a trader. That last part's important. Figure yourself out who you are as a trader, okay? I'm sorry, I just couldn't resist. You guys have seen this before. This is what choking looks like. This is what beating yourself looks like. Any Atlanta fans in here? How'd that feel? How did that feel? You literally had, what'd you have, 17 minutes of football left? 17 minutes of football left, and you guys couldn't sort out a 25-point lead. Ever make money Monday through Thursday and give it all back on Friday? Ever do that? This is what choking looks like that, okay? Brady didn't do this. No one person can do this by themselves. You do realize, Hunter, that if they had just ran the ball 3 and out, ran the ball 3 and out, ran the ball 3 and out, it was literally impossible for the Patriots to win this game. Yeah, this season feels good too, doesn't it, Mike? You understand where I'm going with this? Meaning, you need help to come back from a 25-point deficit, right? It's the truth. You need help to do this. You can't just be like, yes, we're just that good. It doesn't work like that. You need help. You need fumbles. You need bad plays. You need poor play calling. Well, where am I going with this? In trading, to beat yourself, you need some help, and you give it to yourself all the time. You do all of the things you shouldn't do. You take a good trade, sell it too soon. You take a bad trade, hold on to it. That's helping yourself choke. That's helping yourself beat yourself. And this is what you can't do in trading, okay? Here's some more. Just there's lists of largest chokes of all time. For those golfers out there, I watched this live, and I was in college. I watched this live, and I was like, wow, this is just painful. Greg Norman giving up a 6-stroke lead. Not only did he give up a 6-stroke lead, he lost by 5 strokes. That's an 11-stroke turnaround for a professional golfer. 11-stroke turnaround. Okay? That was painful. Golden State Warriors being up 3-1. 3-1. We can go to the Yankees being up 3-0, right? There's examples of it in rugby. There's examples of it in cricket. There's examples of it in World Cup. Here's another choke, and I love this guy, the GOAT probably. Ayrton Senna, Monaco. What was it, 1990 or 1989? He's winning the race by 48 seconds, and he crashes into the wall. He beat himself that day, right? The goal in trading is twofold, is to know who you are, trade within it, and just not beat yourself. And when you understand who you are, it's much harder to beat yourself because you won't put yourself in a situation that could lead to beating yourself. Right? Beating yourself is when you take a good trade and you don't hold it to target. Beating yourself is when you take a good trade and it doesn't work and you hold on to it. Those are two small examples of, quote, beating yourself. The problem is people are very slow to make change. People just don't like change. So instead of recognize, say after a month of trading, you've been doing this over and over and over and over again, but you keep telling yourself, I'll be better Monday. I'll be better Monday. You're not going to be better Monday. You're going to do the same damn thing you did this past Monday. Bank on it. But you're lying to yourself at that point. So instead of putting rules in place or something in place to make sure that you stick to those rules, you don't do it, right? Go with your strength, right? Get your head right and learn your strengths and weaknesses, or just choose another career. You know why? Because this isn't that career where a boss is going to come up to you and say, you know, Dustin, I've noticed the last 10 days in a row, you know, you've been adding this whatever to this Excel spreadsheet. We need you to stop doing that because it's messing everything else up. Guess what? In trading, no one's coming over to your desk and saying, yeah, hey, Eric, stop doing that. Hey, Tommy, yeah, don't do that. Oh, Mike, you're about to sell too soon? No. Let me stop you from doing that. See, when you have a job, someone will inherently, inevitably stop you. You might get away with it once or twice, but they're going to stop you from doing it again. Why? Because they're not going to let you ruin their company. Do you see where I went with that? They're not going to let you ruin their company, but you are ruining your company. It goes back to what I said to you guys before. It's amazing how hard you guys work for other people, but how lazy you are for yourself. Say it again. How hard you work for someone else, but how lazy you are for yourself. It's crazy. It's craziness. You're so used to someone like pulling you off the ledge saying, hey, don't do that. No one is going to do that in trading for you. No one. Which means you have to. Which means if you're not objective, you're going to give yourself a very long rope. And that long rope is basically going to destroy your trading account. Because by the time you figure it out, you'll have lost so much money, you won't have much left. Right? Go with your strengths, but you have to be acknowledging of what those strengths are. This is the problem, though. Traders lie to themselves, and there's no one around to tell them you're lying to yourself. Like, I can look at someone and watch them trade and know exactly what they're good and what they're bad at, but you're telling yourself the opposite. You're going, no, it's just today, Jared. I just messed up today. No, you do this all the time. All the time. You're lying to yourself if you think tomorrow you're going to come in and fix it. Remember yesterday we talked about the new putter syndrome? Remember that? Somebody goes out and buys a new putter and they have a great round of golf and they think they're fixed, they're cured. It's no different than when you guys go to mentorship or you take PTS or you revise your trading plan or you do whatever and you have a really good week of trading and you literally honestly believe deep down inside, I've changed. I'm a different person. 1 week does not make change. Maybe you changed, maybe. Or maybe you were just lucky. When you do it for 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 months, then I'll start saying, yes, you have changed. It's like when you go to the gym for 2 weeks, you don't impress me because you'll probably quit 2 weeks later. When you go for 2 years, now that's impressive. But you guys do it all the time. All the time. I see it in the chat room every damn day. Jared, best week I've ever had. Thank you so much for that lecture you did last week. It changed everything. Well, maybe it did. But I won't know that for another 3 months to see if it really changed for you. You just had 1 week where maybe you made better decisions this week, but you may go back to your old self next week. I don't know. So I'm not poo-pooing you for doing well this week. I'm simply saying, slow down. Let's not talk too much about it until you can look back for a month or 2 or 3 and have those same results. Okay? So, what's the goal? The goal is to overcome. That's it. The goal is to overcome. Okay? We all have challenges. Every single person on this planet has a challenge. Will you overcome it? Will you play to your strengths? You guys have heard me use this saying all the time. You know, sports teams use statistics all the time. Well, what do you want to do to this player? Oh, I want to make that basketball player move to the left. Why? Well, because they shoot 10 percentage points lower when they shoot from the left and the right. Okay, well, the odds are more in our favor if I can get LeBron to go to his left versus his right. Well, if I can get Tom Brady out of the pocket, guess what? My odds are better. He's not a great running quarterback. You see where I'm going? So sports teams do it. They recognize what the strength is of a player and a team, and they recognize the weakness of a player and a team. And then what do? They try to exploit the weaknesses and take away the strengths, which is exploiting the weaknesses, correct? Well, as a trader, you need to do the same thing. You need to exploit your strength and try to minimize your weakness to the most extent possible. You're never going to eliminate it, right? You can't completely eliminate it. So if Manute Bol is 7-7 and Spud Webb is 5-5, I'm pretty sure most of you would say one of those two players has a much higher chance or a higher likelihood of having a successful basketball career. Yet, they both did. And neither one of them was a super duper star, right? None of them were like, oh my God, amazing players, but they had fruitful, long careers in the NBA. And yet, one of the two, you would just have written him off. You would have said, there's no way a guy who's 5'5" can play in the NBA. It's impossible. He played to his strengths. What's the point I'm making here? Okay, is it Muggsy Bogues or is it really Muggsy? You might be right. I have to change it. Maybe it's not Spud. It might be Muggsy. But my point I'm making is, you're going to be good at some things, and you're going to be bad at some things. And the only way you're going to be successful is to exploit what you're good at, minimize what you're bad at, or get better at what you're bad at. But don't tell me it can't be done. If a guy who's 5'5" can play in the NBA, you don't have problems, trust me. Your problems are nothing. If a guy who's 5'5" can play in the NBA, you're nothing. Here's another less extreme example because the sport is different. Michael Chang, 5'8", won the French Open 1989. John Isner is 6'10". To be honest with you, both of those guys have problems. Being 6'10" in tennis is actually not a great thing. Almost all the greatest players are between 6'3" and 6'4". Almost all of them. Sorry, 6 foot and 6'4" is what I meant to say. 6 foot and 6'4". Being 5'8" is not that great. Being 6'10" is not that great. You have to overcome. They did it, though, and had great careers. Right? So where I'm going with is, you are doing this to yourself. The market is not doing it to you. I'm not doing it to you. You are doing it to you. because you're lying to yourself. There are things you're good at, and you might actually acknowledge those things. But the things you're not as good at, you're not acknowledging because you continue to do them by lying to yourself, right? So you have to, things you need to consider. Like if you really want to be great at anything, especially trading, you have to keep it relatively simple. There's no reason to have some crazy, insane approach to this business. It's not that hard, right? Most great traders have a very specific daily routine. A lot of you guys just kind of wing it. You really do. You just kind of, yeah, I think I'll try this. I think I'll try that, right? Most great traders keep their emotions in check. Most of you don't. A lot of mice have been sacrificed in the making of this lecture, right? Most great traders have a very big why. This is an important one. If your why is big enough, you'll likely succeed. We've seen it all the time. And unfortunately, usually has to get pretty bad for that. Right? You ever notice that, guys? And I hate using this analogy, but it's just true. You know, nobody really cares about cancer. I'm exaggerating, but nobody cares about cancer until they or one of their kids gets it. And then once they get it or one of their kids gets it, what happens? They learn every single thing there is to know about the specific type of cancer they have or their kid has. Then what do? They go out and they start a charity, or they start a fund, or they start something to raise money if one of their kids dies of cancer. Like, I don't want to see this happen to anyone else. It was such a painful experience. I'm going to try to help change this. Why? Because their why is so big. What's your why? For a lot of people, it's just not that big. And if your why is not that big, you're just not going to be very good at it. Right? Oh, I don't like my boss. Okay. It's not that big of a deal. You'll find another job. So your why has to be really, really important. It has to be powerful, or else you're probably not going to be that great at this, okay? And most great traders are process-oriented, not outcome-oriented. Be honest. It's a rhetorical question, so you don't have to answer it. How many of you are just outcome-oriented? You just are. You just are. You come in and be like, well, I lost money today, so it was a bad day. Oh, I made money today, so it was a good day. That's bullshit. You can win the wrong way and lose the right way. You can win the wrong way and lose the right way. You can play a great game and lose. You can play a bad game and win. It happens all the time. You need to focus on the process, the daily routine, the pre-trade checklist, the consequence system. You need to focus on those things, because the process is what gets you to the outcome. Every professional, and I don't care if it's in business, if it's parenting, if it's in sports, they have a daily routine, a process that they go through to become great. In fact, athletes are pretty insane about their process. Very, very specific about their process. I mean, my goodness, you ever watch a baseball player right before they step in the box? Like, pat my left thigh, wiggle the bat this way, stand that way, pat the gloves. LeBron James, before every game, throws up the chalk dust. I mean, they're so process-oriented, it's not even funny. It's insane, because it's what helps get them in the zone. Golfers do the same thing. That's right, Jordan. You've been around long enough. Outcome goals without process goals are just pipe dreams. So all great traders know it's just a game of odds. But those odds are over hundreds of trades, not one or even 10. It's about the odds over a series of trades. So accept the randomness of an individual outcome. You take a trade that's really good and it doesn't work. You go back and you review it, and if you still feel like after reviewing it this was a fantastic trade, then you just chalk it into the individual outcome, not the overall outcome of 100 of that same trade. Because if you take 100 of that same trade, they're probably going to work 70, 80% of the time. But that also means you're going to lose 20 or 30% of the time. Oh well. You're not over one. You're over all of them. So be process-oriented, not outcome-oriented. Keep it simple. Have a specific routine. Keep your emotions in check with a consequence system. And have a why that is big enough that it supersedes everything else you do in life. Most people will rarely get to that one. The why isn't that big, okay? This is a great quote, by the way. A great quote. Give it some thought. I'll read it and you think about it. Jesse Livermore. If you haven't read this book, reminiscence of a stock operator? You should. When the market goes against you, you hope that every day will be the last day, and you lose more than you should had you not listened to hope. And when the market goes your way, you become fearful that the next day will take away your profit and you will get out too soon. The successful trader has to fight these two deep-seated instincts. And that last line is key. Deep-seated instincts. Deep-seated instincts. These aren't surface problems, right? These are core problems. Your hopium, right? Your hope for gain is not as strong as your fear of loss. And you're thinking to yourself, gosh, I wish I would have gotten out when I was supposed to. And then the next day comes and you're in a winning trade and you're like, oh my gosh, it might take it all away. It's counterproductive. It's counterintuitive. And if you live like that, you will struggle as a trader, because every time you see green, your immediate thought will be, the market's going to take the green away from me. And every time you see red, you're going to think, if I just let it go a little more, it'll eventually bounce. And then it doesn't. And then it goes lower and lower and lower. You have to fight these things. And that's where consequences come into play. And that's where also this word, Unmal talks about this word a lot. Integrity. You either have it or you don't. You have it or you don't. The quality of being honest and having strong moral principles, moral uprightness. You have to ask yourself, do you have integrity? Because if we're being 100% honest, we all lack integrity, right? We do. I mean, if you say that you have integrity 100% of the time, you're lying, which is lacking integrity. Tell me I'm wrong when I say this. You've never sped on the highway? That's illegal. When an officer pulls you over and says, do you know why I pulled you over? I mean, the most common words they say, do you know why I pulled you over? And you look at him, no, officer, no. You know damn well why he pulled you over or she pulled you over. That's lacking integrity by lying to the officer. Going, I don't know. Who, me? No, not me. I know I was doing 89 miles an hour in a 65, but I have no idea why you pulled me over. My point is all the people out there who think you have this 100% of the time, you don't. When it comes to trading, though, the only person that you're cheating is yourself by lacking integrity in trading. You're only cheating yourself. You don't cheat me when you lack integrity. It's your money. You do whatever the heck you want with it. When you don't hold a trade to target, you're only cheating yourself. When you don't take a stop loss, you're only cheating yourself. When you don't use your pre-trade checklist, you're only cheating yourself. When you put together a consequence system and you don't follow the consequence, you're only cheating yourself. You are cheating no one else on this planet, just you. And that lacks integrity. And that goes back to maybe your why isn't big enough. So you ask yourself, every day on every trade, do you have integrity? I'm not talking about making an honest mistake. I'm talking about the conscious mistakes. And you know what I mean, because most of the mistakes you make in trading are conscious mistakes. If you added a little more shares and you've just genuinely made a mistake, that's different. You sell too soon, that's a conscious decision. That lacks integrity. Okay? How you manage a trade matters, right? Here's a trade on JPM from a little while ago, all right? Little kind of 2-minute 3-bar play, stop loss 140, entry 139.60, triggers us in, peekaboos us out, and then just rides it lower. There's the trade. Watch JP Morgan under 139.50, JP Morgan 139.60 by 140. Nowadays, I would give this more room, shake out, get back in. Trade number one stopped. What if you didn't get back in? You didn't make any money. Now, not everyone has an 84% play or rule in their plan. The question, though, is when you manage a trade, when you have a trading plan, when you have a pre-trade checklist, are you actually following it? Right? Because there's really no other entry other than 84% play after the shakeout here. Maybe there's a breakdown there, maybe. But how you manage matters, and it's funny, a little off topic but on topic. Ali was discussing this, I don't know, a week ago, the end of the month. One management made, it was like break even, the other management made 13R. Exact same trades, exact same entry, exact same stop loss. One management made 13.5R, and another management was like break even, lost a little, made a little, whatever it was, doesn't matter. It was a massive difference in the managements. Okay? So where I'm going with this is sometimes the market is extremely conducive to your approach, the patterns you take, the time frames you use, and the management you apply. And other times the market laughs at that. If that happens over a couple weeks or a month, does that mean that your approach is garbage? Not necessarily. It might just mean during that week or month that the market wasn't in favor of that style or that approach. Where am I going with that? This is the integrity to know the difference. Not just throwing shit at the wall and saying, yeah, that doesn't work anymore. Well, that's garbage. It's worked for 10 years and now 1 month it doesn't work. You're going to tell me it doesn't work anymore? That's the integrity to go back and dig through your trade tracking spreadsheet, your journals, and review the trades you took and go, were they still good? Like, this is still a good trade. No matter what happens, whether you got shaken out or not, it's still a good trade. Just didn't work. Or the stop loss might need to be adjusted a little bit. Okay? You look at that, I'm not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Right? What point should you consider other plans? You should never consider another plan, Derek. You should always only be tweaking your current plan. You should almost never need to completely tear down your trading plan. If you do, it's because you're brand new. If you've been doing this over a year, you should never need to tear down your trading plan. You should only need to make adjustments to it. All right? Like wider stop losses, like waiting 5 minutes. Those are adjustments. Those aren't tearing apart your trading plan. Another one. What if you got back in but sold too soon? So let's say you had, it's the same chart, guys, same chart, okay? What if you have a lower batting average and continually sell at 1.5R instead of the 3R, all or nothing your plan requires? You're not going to be a successful trader. Tell me you've never done that. Tell me you guys have never said to yourself, if I had just ... If I had just ... Tell me you've never told a significant other, a friend, or a spouse that. Yeah, I lost $100 this month, but if I had followed my plan exactly, I would have made $2,000. And then they look at you, deer in the headlights. They literally look at you like, so why don't you just follow your plan? And you're like, but you don't understand. You don't understand. I know. You don't understand. Tell me that's never happened to you. You go back and you look at the trades and you're like, wow, if I had just followed my management or my plan, I would have made 10R this month. But I didn't, so I broke even. And then you tell everyone about it, and they don't understand. They're like, well, if that's your plan, why don't you just follow it? You don't understand. I know I've done it. So this is a case where, let's say you got back in. Let's say you took the 84% play, and you just got out too soon. Sold it for an R, and you're supposed to sell it for 2. So instead of making an R that day, you broke even that day. Okay? This stock ultimately went really far, like $6 or something like that. $5, whatever. But if you got out too soon, guess what? You messed up all your stats. And this is most prevalent or more prevalent with people that have large targets. If you're shooting for 4R targets and you sell at 1 because you're jittery, you are really in big trouble. Because 4R target trading is lower batting average trading, right? And that means you're not going to get as many 4R winners. So when you do get one, you have to get it. Does that make sense? If you're shooting for 4 or 5R, they don't happen all that much. So when you get it, you have to hold on to it. And if you don't, and you sell for 1 or 2, you are destroying yourself because you're going to have a lot of losers in there, probably 7 out of 10 losers. right? This is an email I got a while back. I'm a big fan of yours. Oh, thank you for all the videos and you put on YouTube. I hate to admit this, but I did something really stupid. I still can't believe I did it. Sure you can't. Sure you can't. You've probably done it since. I took what I thought was a good climactic setup on the weekly of Yandex, YNDX. That's not really the problem. The problem is I didn't take my stop loss. I know. Stupid. But I just thought there was no way this could go much lower. And if it did, then it would definitely come back. Have you ever thought or heard those words before? Let me reread it for you. Say it loud and proud. But I just thought there was no way this could go much lower. And if it did, then it would definitely come back. But now I am way down on this position, over $25,000. I honestly don't know what to do. Do you have any advice for me? I'm sick to my stomach and so angry with myself. And this is the part that bugs me, as I used to enjoy watching When Will the Insanity Stop segments, never ever imagining I could do something so stupid. It just goes to show no one is immune to being dumb. Well, that part is true. We're all dumb. But there's levels of stupidity, and this is one of the higher levels of stupidity. Okay? This is the chart. This is the chart. Stock drops 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 days. Went from, I don't know, $87 to 40. That's kind of a legitimate climactic. Pretty close. Person gets in right here. Bam. And here's the problem. The stock gapped down. This is true. By the way, 3 topping tails didn't kind of signal something was wrong. 1, 2, 3. Yup. And then it gaps down. Here's the thing. You had time. Your stop loss is down here, right? Your stop loss is like right down there, okay? Right down there. No excuse. It didn't gap below it by $10. It opened above your stop loss. It opened above your stop loss and actually moved higher and then went lower. There's no excuse whatsoever. Why do you have a stop loss if you're not going to adhere to it? It's useless. I don't care if you think it should bounce higher. This is nasty. And this stuff actually happens. And it did happen. And this person's now down $25,000. I hope they got out of it. I don't know what Yandex is doing these days. But that's the definition of bag holding. This shit happens. Yandex stock sinks before trading and rushing search engine halted. Yandex halted, but set to slide another 21% after new sanctions. Uber cuts ties with Russian ride-sharing service. Uber moves executives from Russian Yandex taxi joint venture. Yeah, 3 topping tails on a weekly chart. I agree with you, Rob. This isn't good. And now what's that person doing? Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. They are searching the news every day. Every day. They're looking at company financials, searching news reports. They're doing everything you shouldn't be doing. You're not searching for news reports. You are a chart reader. Why are you looking at news reports if you're a chart reader? The chart's the only thing that matters to you. You're looking because you know you effed up and you're trying to figure out a way out of it. Because you're certainly not going to take the $25,000 loss. Heck no, I'm not going to do that. But you should have taken the small loss earlier. Small losses are easy to come back from. Big losses take time. This, and the other problem also, when you see something like this happens, what typically happens to those people? They go big afterwards. If they lost the money, they quit if they don't have any left. But if they have money left, then they double and triple down. Okay? Then they double and triple down. Instead, trade like a pro. Trading like a pro means you know that you're not perfect. But you know also that you have an edge. I'm going to say that part again. Trading like a pro means you know you're not perfect, but you also know you have an edge that works most of the time. Most does not mean all of the time. It means most of the time, which means you know you're going to have a down day here or there. And that's okay. So here's an example from Unmol. Why did I use this example? Why did I choose this example? You know why. Because there's lots of losses in here. Lots and lots of losses. Right? Unmol was very active during this period. Made $9,000 this day. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 11 losses on here. 11 losses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 winners. But note the winners. 3,000, 3,000, 3,000. There's almost $9,000 right there. And then this 1,600 right here basically offsets the losses. That's what a professional looks like. They know their odds. They know their edge. Over here, yes, it's mostly winners. I would agree there. It's mostly winners, but there's still a loss there. You're not perfect because no one's perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 winners, 1 loss. That's a heck of a day. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to keep your losses in check. You can't let the losses get to $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, or $25,000 in that person's case. You don't need to be perfect to make money. Here's a month, $35,000 month with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 down days. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 and 6 on a 19 trade month. That's not a terribly great month, right? 6 down days though. But the up days superseded it. And again, a couple of those down days aren't fun. $6,000 is not a fun down day. Okay? $4,500 isn't a fun day. All right? But look at some of the winning days. $7,400, right? $4,700. Okay? And there's some small ones in there too. Still ends up to being $35,000. So, then you come back to this. We talked about it last week. I'll show you a couple. What are you doing every day? So one question you need to ask yourself every day. What am I doing? And what am I doing to make myself better today? I need to be better today than I was yesterday. I need to learn something new today that I didn't know yesterday. This is a great trade on Microsoft. We talked about the flag wedge. We talked about the relative strength. We talked about the pullback and the retest. Take the no-brainer trades. Stop messing around with garbage. Take no-brainer trades, manage them in between. Meaning, put a management strategy together that is effective for your personality style. That goes back to not lying to yourself, not beating yourself. Right? I'll go all the way back to this. I know it's a simple phrase, but you need to see it. Most traders beat themselves. You guys are beating yourselves. And you know it. That's the worst part. The problem with it is you're not making the necessary adjustments to fix the problem. You're saying to yourself, oh, I'll fix that tomorrow. But you won't, because you don't have a reason to. You don't have a consequence to fix it tomorrow. Right? You don't. Or you're good for a couple days. You know what's a great example is this? A great analogy of this is the speeding ticket thing, the police thing. How many people you get a speeding ticket and then for like the next week or next month, you never do more than 10 over. You stay between 5 and 10 over after you get a speeding ticket. Or you're speeding on the highway and then you see someone else get pulled over and magically you slow down to just 5 or 10 over the speed limit. And you stay that way the whole ride home. But not the next day. Ever do that? Oh my gosh, there's a police officer. He's pulling somebody over and I'm doing 30 over. Ooh, I'm going to slow down. But then the next day you go back to speeding. And the funny part, the ironic part is you probably should speed up because the odds of seeing another police officer on the way home are even smaller because that guy's already busy. That's the irony of it. We do things that are counterintuitive. It's hilarious. We are foolish people. And the more foolish you are, the more it's going to cost you in this business. Another example. Airbnb. 3-bar play. Relative, remember, this is a topping tail way up in here. That's all topping tail, okay? Wide bar, narrow bar, drop. Look at the relative weakness, okay? Look at the relative weakness, okay? Watch Airbnb, watching Airbnb. These are the no-brainer trades. Stick to these. You'll have a very fruitful career. How about this one? Take quality trades, get quality results. This was yesterday. EVH had what? A little bull sandwich inside of a little 3-4 bar play. It was a 5-minute 3-bar play. It was a 2-minute like super play. Okay? Look at this gap. You're gapping under 2 green bars, big green bars, pivot right here, okay? With tons of room to go lower. This is amazing. And yet, very few people took this. I didn't. I know it had a big spread, but the pattern, you stick to these patterns, you will rarely lose a trade as long as you manage in between. Right? If you manage terribly, then it won't matter. If you manage terribly, it won't matter. And that's going back to knowing yourself. Right? I'd still rather just be innocent. But guys, take quality. Get quality. Stop taking crappy trades. Stop selling too soon. Stop not taking your stop losses. Put a consequence system together so that you'll be forced to do those things. And then at the end, do the work. Stephen Pressfield, remember, our enemy is not lack of preparation. It's not the difficulty of the project or the state of the marketplace or the emptiness of our bank account. The enemy is our chattering brain, which, if we give it so much as a nanosecond, will start producing excuses, alibis, transparent justifications, and a million reasons why we can't, shouldn't, won't do what we know we need to do. Tell me you don't believe that and haven't done that before. You know damn well you should be at the gym, and you're not there. You know damn well you shouldn't be selling that trade before time, but you're going to do it. You know damn well you should take your stop loss, but you're not going to. You know darn well you should be tracking your trades, but you don't do it. You know darn well you should be back testing your trades in journal, but you're not going to do it. Oh, I'm tired today. Oh, it was a losing day. I'll get to it tomorrow. Oh, that stock's only going to go another 20 cents below my stop, and then it'll bounce back up. Oh, this stock really had a topping tail, and that's why I sold it where it did. It wasn't really going to get to my target anyway, so I got out early. Stupid, transparent, silly justifications. Flat excuses. And that's why you're a loser. What? What, Jared? Yes, that's why you're a loser. You're a losing trader or a break-even trader because of those things. You're fat because you don't go to the gym because you have justifications and excuses for it. You're not healthy, it's because you don't eat right, because you have justification. I'm busy, so I had to stop at Chick-fil-A. You didn't have to, you chose to. That's it. It'd be better to have not eaten until you found something healthy, or bring a snack with you. It's unbelievable. The amount of mental masturbation that you guys do justifying bullshit is off the charts. So when I say it to you, and people don't like when I say it, when I tell you rich people are different, they are. They're not different in terms of putting their pants on one leg at a time. They're not different. But when it comes to making excuses, they are different. They make far fewer of them than you do. They just get shit done. Oh, it's 2 a.m, somebody calls and your business needs something, you show up, don't you? Because you don't have a choice. But for trading, oh no, nope, excuses, excuses, excuses. You must really like your boss a lot. You must really like not reaching goals and dreams and not having freedom and flexibility. Why? I told you I'd say it again. Because the proof is in the pudding. That's it. That's all I have to say to you guys. The proof is in the pudding. Let's put one of these down here because it looks good down here. Let's just make a really big one right there. The proof's in the pudding. That's it. Don't tell me what you think. Show me what you do. You can lie to yourself all you want, but you can't lie to your bank account. You can't lie to your trading account. You lie to the mirror all you want. The mirror doesn't pay your bills, right? What's in your trading account will or won't, right? So, I hope that you guys have learned a little bit about integrity, about the need to understand oneself properly, not lying to yourself, being objective with yourself, right? Having a consequence system, having people help hold you accountable, being real with yourself, being honest with yourself, not making excuses for yourself. You're not perfect. You'll make mistakes, and that's okay. We're not talking about those things. We're talking about the constant and consistent mistakes you make over and over while telling yourself you won't make them again. Those are the things I'm talking about. I'm not talking about mistakes. You're human. I expect you to make them. But I want to see change after you make them. Remember, outcome goals without process goals are just pipe dreams. Okay? So, I hope this lecture will make you guys a better trader. I hope you'll take it to heart. Really, really dig deep and think about who you are as a trader and how you can be better. I'm Jared Wesley of Live Traders. We'll get back at it again next week.